and
Oddworld.
Hey oddballs, I'm your host Jensen, and welcome to episode 129. We are going to jump right in today and say happy birthday to you December 18th babies. I, of course, am going to be reading from the birthday book and we're going to get to know you. So here we go.
Happy birthday.
Blessed with soaring imaginations, December 18th people are fascinated by concepts that those of less original turn of mind might dismiss, but are also determined to translate their dreams into reality. Even from childhood, those born on this day may often have formulated a game plan for life that revolves around the specific interests that absorb their attention. They remain resolutely focused regardless of the vicissitudes they may experience, the tempting diversions that may present themselves, or even the doubts of those whom have confided their aspirations. Always keeping their ultimate objectives firmly in mind, they work meticulously toward their achievement, displaying resourcefulness, ingenuity, and practical and organizational talents in the process. These qualities inspire the admiration of those around them, and their effectiveness in terms of results cannot but win over even the most hardened of skeptics. Those born on this day will flourish in any professions where they can retain their autonomy and are therefore better suited to careers that allow for such independence, perhaps those encompassed by science and technology, the arts, or the sporting arena. Innately resistant to towing the corporate line, December 18th people are nevertheless charismatic leaders, a gift that, when combined with their ability to maintain a broader view, equips them admirably as politicians. Despite the respect they inspire and their goodwill to those around them, those who seek more intimate relationships with December 18th people, men especially, may find it hard to access the emotional side of their characters. Their virtues are ambitious, charismatic, visionary. Their vices are emotionally detached, workaholic, obsessive. So happy birthday again, you December 18th babies. If this sounds like you or somebody that you know, please let me know, and let's go ahead and move on to stories.
This comes from Secret Base 1082 on Reddit.
For full disclosure, I would consider myself an open-minded skeptic. These things happened after I suddenly lost my dad, who I was pretty close to illness as a kid. Plus, there was a lot of dysfunction in my family after his death. So I'm not sure if this was just the imagination of a child who was grieving her father while living in a dysfunctional household or what. I still feel really spooked out when I think about them and have trouble explaining some of the stuff. The first weird thing I noticed was a shadow I saw on the living room couch. The couch was in a really well-lit area next to a big window. So it was a weird place for a shadow. I don't even know if shadow would be the right word here. It was like every time I walked past the living room, out of the corner of my eye, I'd see a black shadow-like silhouette of a woman sitting on the couch. I could name specific details. Like, it always looked like she was sitting with her legs curled up on the couch beside her, and her hair pulled up into some sort of bun. Of course, when I turned around to look, there would be nothing there. But this kept up for years. I did start to think I was maybe unwell or just imagining things, until other people, like my brother's girlfriend, who I'd never told about this shadow woman, started complaining to me that they kept thinking they saw a woman on the couch out of the corner of their eye, but when they turned to look, nothing was there. The next weird thing was, I kept waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of people talking downstairs, sometimes yelling even. And I always had a really weird, unsettled feeling when this happened. I was always scared to open my door when this was happening because it just felt sort of off. But the times I was brave enough to open my door and check, there would be nothing there. Just dark downstairs. No one down there. And everyone else in the house was asleep in their rooms. I started sleeping with my TV on for years to drown out the sounds. Again, I thought I was maybe imagining things. Maybe I was unwell or developing some disorder, until other people in the house started complaining about hearing it too. Sometimes my TV would just turn off on its own while I was sleeping, and I'd still wake up to the talking downstairs. Back when family computer rooms were still a thing, I'd obviously stay on the family computer until pretty late at night, as a lot of young teens would do, checking MySpace or whatever. Except the family computer room was right next to the basement, and when I'd stay up at night in the computer room, I'd hear footsteps going up and down the basement stairs. I also got a weird feeling about it and was sometimes afraid to open the door, but sometimes I did, because my mom insisted that one of the cats or dogs had gotten left in the basement. Of course, it was always dark with nothing down there, the few times I felt brave enough to check. When I was an older teen, I had a laptop, and I started having issues that when the laptop was fully turned off, every morning around 3 to 3:15 a.m., it would turn on. Maybe there was a technical explanation for this, like a virus or an alarm or something, but it would always do it around 3 a.m. It would usually play the last song or video I had watched or listened to, even though my laptop was turned off and closed. Maybe with all the other stuff going on, I was just projecting something paranormal onto a glitchy laptop. One of my weirdest memories was one day I was sitting on my bed, working on a paper for school. I remember I had my TV on, and I remember Scrubs was on. I'm really dating all of this, aren't I? When I got that weird feeling that you get when someone is watching you from my doorway. I looked in the doorway, and I just saw a face, and nothing else. No body. The face already looked like a little transparent. It was weird. It was like an orangey color, and the eyes were really big and black. Kind of reminded me a bit of an owl. After a few seconds of staring at it, it just sort of disintegrated into thin air. I got up and slammed my door shut and freaked out about it for a little bit. A few years ago, my mom sold the house. I went to visit for the last time as a grown woman in my early 30s with my husband. And weirdly enough, part of me almost wanted something weird to happen while I was visiting. Nothing weird or paranormal did happen though. My mom claims that she got rid of whatever was there. Maybe she did. Or maybe we were just all sick with grief and family dysfunction when I was a teen. It was all still weird though, and I still don't know what to make of it. Well, this one has some twists and turns. It definitely feels like something paranormal, but honestly, it could either be paranormal that's attached to like the dysfunction and the grief and all of that. Paranormal things are drawn to negative things. So since all of that negativity is happening, all the paranormal stuff is happening. Or it could just be manifested because of all the grief and dysfunction that's happening. For instance, one of my favorite places to go is Belvoir Winery, and allegedly there was something super negative there at one point, but I don't remember who determined that it was just a manifestation, but they determined that that negative whatever it was just a manifestation from everybody who was visiting, who just kind of, manifested it. It wasn't even a real entity of sorts. So it could be something like that, but what makes it paranormal for me and not just like a manifestation is this person's mom claims that she got rid of whatever was there, meaning that this mother genuinely thought that something was happening and took matters into her own hands, did whatever she did and got rid of it. And with this person visiting again and nothing happening, maybe she actually did get rid of whatever was there. Maybe everything that was negative happening in this person's life when they were a teenager, maybe it just pulled in all the spirits. Because like I said earlier, negative events in life can draw in the paranormal. But anyhow, I'm very curious to see what you guys think. And let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
This comes from naive-astronaut-8222 on Reddit.
I was really young, 14 or so, and my home life was a mess. So I was sleeping on the couch in the living room. Out of nowhere, I jerked up to see a figure across the room. It looked like a man, but seemed to have no shoulders. He was holding something that I still don't know, but seemed to be an infant wrapped in black. I stared, and it jumped forward twice. In flashes, not walking. Right as it got to me, it disappeared. I remember so clearly I thought, nope, and went right back to sleep. I've never heard of a weird spirit like that, with no shoulders, misformed. Okay, so what I find weird, first of all, is I usually try to piece stories together. And this time I have had no time to even breathe just in my own life. So I have just thrown these stories together real quick. And so I find it really weird that both of these stories have messy or dysfunctional or whatever home lives. And I swear sometimes somebody on the other side is putting these together because these two kind of go hand in hand in a weird way. There are negative things happening in these people's lives, and then something negative shows itself, or just not right things happen. And how freaking weird is it that this thing doesn't have any shoulders and is holding a baby? That's freaking weird. That is freaking weird. And I didn't mention it before, but the previous story with the orange head and big eyes, that's weird too. From all of the stories that I have had negative things happen in people's lives, there's always some kind of dark entity or disfigured something, crazy noises, I don't know, just not the best of spirits happening around. And maybe these are just my thoughts, but maybe these entities that are coming that are drawn to the negativity are more negative spirits because they were negative maybe in their real life, or it's just some kind of manifestation or whatever you want to call it. But for the sake of things, we'll just say they were negative in real life. And so maybe they don't get to appear as their full self in the afterlife. Who knows? Or maybe since they're negative, they can appear any way they want. I just went on a tangent and I'm sorry, but my brain is just genuinely trying to wrap itself around what is happening, because I just find these two stories so intriguing at the fact that there are negative things happening, and then there are these just kind of weird entities that are appearing to these people. Apparently, I just have a lot to say about it, because also, here's another thought. What if these certain entities or the things that are happening, also the woman sitting on the couch, what if maybe these are maybe a spirit trying to tell you something, but maybe not be negative? I don't obviously know that to be true, but maybe there's some kind of weird hidden meaning in it. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I just know that typically with a lot of the stories that I've read, when there is negativity going on in somebody's life, there's always some kind of weird black figure of sorts, or just some kind of weird figure that appears to these people. So what do you guys think? Because clearly my mind is just rolling and I could just keep on going, but I will stop this train right here. And if you have a paranormal story, like either story today or just a paranormal story in general, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And well, it's an odd world after all. Oddballs, thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave 5 stars or thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you listen on. If you have any comments for this episode, comment below or head over to Instagram and comment on this episode's preview. To submit a story or for more information, go to itsanoddworldafterall.com.